All right, guys, another edition of Real Talk. Mike Johnson, the man here. We're going to change it up for you a little bit of audible. We've shown you prospects and commitments so far. Now we're going to look at some of those guys that are already at the University of Georgia, those elite signees. Let's start with Cade Mays right here. And Mike, what do you know about Cade right off the jump?
Well, watching some of his high school film, you really jump in and you think, okay, maybe a guard at the next level. Elite strength, a pretty good foot speed, but I don't know if when I saw him on high school film, if I thought his foot speed was good enough to really be an elite tackle in the SEC. Watching him in the spring game, though, I was really impressed with his foot speed. So he's done a lot of work on that since he's gotten to Georgia, and I think he looks like a pretty good prospect out of tackle right now.
All right, now let's check this film. Right now, Cade Mays battling with Isaiah Wilson for the right tackle job, running second team. And Mike, you mentioned the spring game. Where have you already seen him make strides from what you saw in spring to this film right here?
Well, it's his ability to move laterally. I think it's what's so tough when some of these tackles come to the next level, and its ability to really change the direction of your movement laterally. You talk about running guys around the hump when you have defensive end rushing with that next level speed in the SEC. I thought he would struggle running guys around the hump, but really when you watch him, he's able to take on bull rushes in the spring game. He's really able to run guys around the edge. I thought he looked like a starting caliber offensive lineman. Now, you're going to see some of the violence he plays with in high school, and obviously you're going to love that edge. He's going to have to tone some of that down a little bit, but I like him as a player so far and what I've seen of him at Georgia, and this film right here just kind of details that.
Mike, is he one of those guys maybe that at a lot of programs he might be an instant starter, but maybe not at a place like Georgia? What do you think the things that are getting him on the field fast?
Well, I think definitely when you point to him as a tackle, you look at 10 other programs in the SEC and you say, okay, that guy's got the foot speed to where he could be an elite tackle at that place and would start in game one, year one. But when you look at a place like Georgia with all the talent they have on their offensive line right now, he does have to get better in certain aspects. And I thought the challenging aspect, like I said, I thought would be his foot speed, his ability to move laterally, kind of shuffle his feet side to side, making sure he's keeping all his cleats kind of in contact with the turf. But like I said, I watched him in the spring game, I watched him very closely, and I was impressed with his ability to kind of turn the corner in that aspect. So, I don't want to say he couldn't start at Georgia right away, because maybe he will. But, he's definitely one of those guys that you look 1 or 2 years down the road, that's an all SEC caliber player.
Two tendencies I want to go over with you right now. He looked like a right, not a left tackle, and it seems to me like he has more of a knack for the run game rather than pass pro. What do you see?
No, I definitely agree with that. He looks like more of a right tackle to me. When you talk about some of those guys that are tweeners, that could play right tackle, that could play guard, he looks like he's kind of got that mold. Sometimes when you look at left tackles, especially in the NFL, they have to have that extra bit of length, the 7-foot wingspans and the ability to do some of those crazy things. I don't think that's him right now, but I do think he can be an elite level tackle. I do also think he's better engaged in the run game right now, and that comes to keeping your head out. That comes with some of his ability and his physicality and his upper body strength. Sometimes when you have that elite upper body strength in high school, you don't worry about it as much. You can just, kind of clothesline guys and kind of move on to the next level. It's not going to work in terms of Georgia and college football. So getting kind of his head out in that passing game is going to be really what sends him on to the next level.
Mike, one last nugget here on Cade. If you're looking at him on film right here, what's the chink in the armor? Where do you think a high school or a really talented college lineman could get him coming into Georgia?
Well, I think and I don't want to say he gets lazy with his hands, because he's not lazy with his hands, but his technique with his hand use is just not that great. You see him kind of overpower people to where kind of gets one hand in the chest, maybe grabs around the shoulder pad. That's a holding penalty all day long in the SEC. That's something, his hand placement really is what kind of sticks out on film.
All right, guys, that's more Real Talk with Mike Johnson. He does college guys, he does high school guys. You can see it here every week on Before the Hedges.